Daniel Sports Central, we go for a college football game preview and prediction on the Week 9 matchup between the UCLA Bruins and the Colorado Buffaloes. Two teams that are in very different positions as we look forward to Week 9. A crucial matchup for both teams. Colorado, this is a team that started the season 3-0. Obviously one of the big stories of this college football season. But since starting 3-0, this team has gone 1-3, coming off of a brutal loss to Stanford. How will this team bounce back in Week 9 as they take on a talented UCLA team that is very much a dark horse contender in the Pac-12? We'll be going over a full game preview and prediction on this matchup here today. Let's get started with their team trends. Colorado lost to Stanford 43-46 a couple of weeks ago. This team is coming off of a bye week, and obviously I would say a much needed bye week for the Buffaloes. Obviously losing 3 of their last 4. This team is very much in question right now by a lot, and the defense is the main concern for this team. Defensively, they have just been bad the past few games, so obviously a lot of questions need to be answered about this team, but they're 4-3 and 1-3 overall. UCLA on the other side just beat Stanford this past week 42-7, so two very different results. UCLA took care of Stanford no problem, and I mean the Bruins have been a good team this season. They've really shown promise. But this team has been inconsistent for sure. You consider the couple losses this team has taken. It hasn't always been pretty for the Bruins, that's for sure. But this team is 5-2 and 2-2 overall in Pac-12 play and ranked 23rd in the country. Games beyond the 28th in Pasadena. UCLA is the home team for this one, and the kickoff is 4:30 Pacific. Spread's going with UCLA by 17 here. So the Bruins are favored by a decent amount, probably as you would expect, given the way Colorado has played the past few games. But, I mean, that's kind of the thing about Colorado. This team, after their 3-0 start, everyone thought, especially after their 2-0 start, that this was a well-rounded, good football team that could be a contender in the Pac-12. But as the weeks have gone on, and we've learned more about this Colorado team, a team that had so much uncertainty heading into this season, I mean, the truth has come to light. This is a team that is strong with Shedeur Sanders, and they are an excellent passing game, one of the best in the country. But the truth is their defense is just bad. And that's just really come to light the past few games for Colorado. But your series history, UCLA leads at 13-5. We've seen them win the past 2 matchups and 7 of the past 10. Your stat comparison, Colorado 15th in points per game, second pass offense in the country. This team is, I mean, you look at Shedeur, 2,400 yards on the season, 21 touchdowns, 3 picks. There's no hiding that he's been incredible this season, and really, I mean, coming out of the gate with those first couple of games really just being an incredible quarterback. I mean, he's really come to light this season, and that's really cool to see. But otherwise, it's been tough for Colorado. I mean, the rushing game, Dylan Edwards, the lead rusher, and he's only got 250 yards on the season. If you compare that to Carson Steele, who's on UCLA, their lead rusher, he's got right around 600 yards and 6 touchdowns on the season. So obviously a poor rushing game, and I mean that's also part of building a program. You got to remember this is a team that Sanders, Coach Prime, basically started from scratch this past season. This is a brand new football team that was just put together, and the future's bright for Colorado. Really do believe that, but this season obviously some growing pains for sure. But the defense, 130th in pass defense this season, just brutal. And the rushing defense is 78th. As for UCLA, really strong defensive team here. This is probably one of your better defenses in the Pac-12. It's tough to compare this team with some of your top-tier offenses in the conference, like Washington or USC or even Oregon or Oregon State. But I do think the Bruins, though, defensively, that's really where this team has an edge. And that's what's been impressive for this team. But rushing game has been strong, 26th. And that 11th ranked in defense, and also the second ranked rush defense in the country. Your recent matchups, Colorado lost to Stanford, double overtime, 43-46. Allowed 46 points to Stanford. Just a rough. I mean, they were dominant in the first half, had that huge lead, and then just blew it, which is obviously part of the process, but especially with once again a brand new team. But beat Arizona State the week before, 27-24. Lost to USC 41-48. Put up a fight in the second half in that matchup. It was total opposite. second half wise with the USC and Stanford matchups, comparing them. Lost to Oregon 6-42, beat Colorado State in double overtime 43-35. But as for UCLA, beat Stanford, lost to Oregon State 24-36. Also had that loss to Utah 7-14. What a strange score for the Pac-12 this season, being a conference just filled with explosive offenses, and you see a 14-7 game there. But obviously the nice win over Washington State, 25-17, beat them when they were ranked 13th in the country. Washington State has kind of fallen off since, but definitely a nice win there. And obviously, if you think back to September, mid-September, the win against NC Central, 59-7. Your key points: Colorado 4-3. You obviously can't forget about the hot start that this team had, 3-0 to start the season, but they've lost 3 of 4 since. And this is a crucial game for Colorado as well. I mean, this is a team that everyone thought would be pretty much a lock for a bowl game after week 3, but they've lost 3 of 4 since. And now down the stretch, obviously the Pac-12 is a really tough and competitive conference this season. Got UCLA this week, Oregon State next, and then Arizona, Washington State, and then Utah. So you consider that, and this team needs to win at least 2 of their last 5. I mean, this is a big game for Colorado to try to remain in bowl contention. I mean, it's going to be tough to win 2 games down the stretch. So this is a huge bounce back opportunity for the Buffs, coming off of a bye week as well. They're going to be more rested up and more prepared for this one for sure. And for Shedeur in this passing game, I mean, UCLA, their main strength defensively is against the rush. So that is going to be a way that Colorado can win this game, is through the passing game. But obviously that's going to be their one way, because that's the main strength of this team. Otherwise, it's just been a pretty inconsistent mess for the Buffs this year. But defensively, they are one of the worst in the country, so going to have to score points. And defensively, if they can just find a way to keep UCLA within reach and find a way to beat them in the end, that's going to be the way to success. And forcing a turnover or 2 as well would just go such a long ways for the Buffs. But for UCLA, Bruins are a talented dark horse in the Pac-12. This team hasn't had a lot of noise this season, mainly because the Pac-12 is just so stacked. In Washington and USC and Oregon, even Oregon State, Utah really have gotten much of the attention in the Pac-12 this season. But I mean, UCLA is right on the outside looking in. This is a talented team that is still in contention in the conference. They do need some help at this point, and they definitely have to win out. But this team, it really starts here in this matchup, and defensively, that's really where this team shines most. And for them to be at home in this matchup, this is probably a must-win for them to remain a conference contender this season. And I mean, this team can still get to a pretty good bowl game as well, but obviously down the stretch, going to have to play pretty well. And so with that, let's get the prediction here for Colorado and UCLA coming up here in week 9 of action. Can Colorado bounce back? I just don't think so. I'm going to go with UCLA 38-27. I think the Buffs hang in there, and they're going to cover the spread, keep it close for a while. But I do think UCLA maybe gets a late touchdown and wins it 38-27. So it's probably a 10-point win or so is what I'm expecting for UCLA. I mean, you look at Colorado the past few weeks, this team has really just fallen off a bit since their up 3-0 start. And defensively, it's been tough for this team. And I feel like UCLA is maybe not they're not the best offense Colorado is going to play this season, but considering they allowed 46 points to Stanford this past week, and I feel like they can be a lot better than that. But I do think UCLA finds a way to score 38 and win this matchup 38-27. But I do think, though, Colorado shouldn't be doubted in this matchup. UCLA is a heavy favorite, but I do think Colorado finds a way to keep it close. But I'll say Bruins 60%, over under 64. I'm taking the over and Colorado to cover the spread in the end. But with that, let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this matchup, your score predictions, all of that. Let me know in the comments, and stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. I'll catch you on the next one.